Welcome back, guys. So today I've got a pretty odd one for you. This Earthbound Player's Guide. This is a counterfeit. This is a reproduction, a bootleg, if you will. But there's something kind of interesting about this version that I want to talk about. Do we have to fear these reproductions taking over the market and people being fooled by them? I don't think so, and I'll kind of show the quality and the reasons why in a moment. But I did pay about $30 for this, shipped from China. A little much for what it is, but the seller did say, hey, if quality matters to you, maybe don't buy this thing. But I think this is an okay reproduction, but there's a few things that are going to be really different from this compared to an original version. So I do want to bring that kind of stuff up as well. So if you could find an original version of this in decent condition, you're looking at around $100 or so. It is a pricey book. I remember back when this game came out in 95, it was a couple years later. I did get a copy of it clearanced out at Best Buy for $30. I wish I would have held on to that because, man, complete in a box nowadays, you're talking hundreds of dollars depending upon condition. But here's the book. I'm going to explain some of the differences here. There's going to be a few things that you notice, and I'm going to explain why. This first page right here, page number 1, if you compare this to the original, there's some information right here that this has been cut out. The information was like the address to Nintendo. I believe in the back of the book, there's another spot that has that as well. Down here, there was like the phone number and something else. And that stuff's been removed from this release. So you'd be like, well, so these Chinese sellers, they're removing that. Actually, they didn't. And I'm going to explain why. But when you look at this book, I don't think it's anything that anybody has to be worried about being fooled with. Nintendo, when they made these kind of guides over the years, they always stuck to about the same size and the same quality of materials, the pages that they use. And all the originals from the 90s up until like later releases, all the pages were very glossy, shiny, very high quality, all that good stuff. The covers were thick, nice stock that they used for the covers and whatnot. And that's how they mostly were since the beginning of these types of guides back in the day. They all had that nice shine to the pages. Quality varied over the years, but they all pretty much used it. This is the Ocarina of Time guide. It's the same thing, shiny pages. And all of them, for the most part, had the same dimensions other than the older Nintendo Power Strategy guides were a little different in size. They were, similar to the size of Nintendo Powers at that time. But these also had shiny pages and whatnot. So that's how Nintendo produced these things. Now this Earthbound guide, upon first look, it kind of looks like it's the same size, but it's not. So they did change the dimensions here. And actually, when I really dug into this, it's not even that the Chinese seller who printed this changed the dimensions. Nintendo did. And we'll get into that in a second. But this book right here, it's from bottom to top is 10 1/8 inches. It's the same as all of these. But going this way, it's a little smaller. And you could see that if you have an original guide, this has been kind of squished in a little bit. You could tell with all the images, they're not as fat as they should be, just slightly though. It's not a crazy difference, but going from this end to this end, this book is 7 3/4 inches, wide. An original one, all these original ones, plus I have a bunch more that were all the same exact size, other than, maybe minor differences, maybe a point of a millimeter difference. But all these books, they're 8 inches this way. This one's 7 3/4. So this is not going to be the same size. And it's missing those shiny pages. And the cover's very thin. Has like a matte feel to it. It doesn't feel like this is going to like rub off or anything like that. I'm not too concerned, but we don't have the shiny pages at all. And like I said, we do have some of those minor differences, and I'm going to get more into that in a moment because I'm going to explain a whole other option here. But going through the book, this is the complete book. This thing has every single page, all the information. It looks very sharp. Everything is easily readable. The dots per inch, whatever they use to print this, the quality of the print is not too bad. The colors don't look bad. I compared this to an original because I thought, some of the purples look a little, the blues look a little purple, but that's just the way it was. This print is decent decent quality for what it is. I don't necessarily advocate, hey, buy these things. I love these kind of books and I just wanted one like this. So I wanted to check it out and I was like, screw it. I thought it was a kind of funny eBay posting. So I had to take a look and share it with you guys, let you know what's up. But there's that, it's just a book. We can't really dwell too much on it. I looked over every single page. Everything is accurate. There's nothing wrong here. Everything is easily readable. It's just not as good quality as an original release. And it's just because of the way they printed it. That's it. The pages, it's very thin pages. Not the thinnest I've ever seen used in stuff like this. I'm not really like worried about like, okay, I'm going to flip through it and I'm going to rip it or anything. But they are thinner than, an original release. But everything's there. Everything is there. Now, what this company, whoever these people are, I'm seeing these things taken over eBay at around $30, shipped from China. If you find somebody in the US reselling this, they're selling it for like, they're buying these and then reselling them for like 60, 70 bucks. Kind of boo-boo. I bought this from China and it took like a week and a half to get to me. It wasn't even that long of a wait. But you could do this yourself if you really wanted to. We're going to look at some other differences in a second here, but there's all that. Just kind of wanted to flip through the book a little bit. It does have the scratch and sniff cards, and they're perforated. Interesting, right? You can actually pull these out if you want, but scratch them. You want to smell a little big whiff of, this fart cloud, whatever it is. There's nothing there. I don't know. It smells like something. I don't think there's anything on there. There's no way. It smells like shit, but I think it's just the ink that they used. There's no real smells here. There's, because you would see where it would say scratch here on original, you would see like there was a material on there, like a sticker almost. But on these, no, it's just paper. You're just sniffing nothing. But it's kind of interesting. They included those and they are perforated. So there's that. There's the back page anyway. Back of the print. Not too shabby. The side here is one of the biggest giveaways as far as like comparing this to an original release, because the Earthbound and the Player's Guide is way bigger. All this is like way bigger than the way it looks on the original guide. So that font, it's a bigger ass, thicker font than what was on the original. And there's, I think, a reason for that. I think they just like put that together themselves, because where did they get this print from? There's been fairly high quality PDFs of this original book online for a long while now. But guess what? Nintendo actually has you covered. Nintendo was like, you know what? Screw all these bootleg PDFs. We're going to put out our own PDF. And that is what this book is based off of, is Nintendo's most recent release of this book. They released it in PDF form for everybody and their mama to enjoy. So pretty interesting. I'm going to put a link in the description for you guys, because I don't think a lot of people realize this, but this book right here with these edits, these are Nintendo's edits. This isn't some Chinese company editing this stuff, removing the telephone number and the address. This was Nintendo removing this. So this is the most recent revision from 2017, when Nintendo put the PDF of this book, a very high quality PDF, mind you, way better of a quality than the best quality, scans that you'll find out there. And that is what this book is based off of, is Nintendo's upload of that PDF. They put it out when the Super Nintendo Classic came out so people could look through it. And I think that is pretty damn awesome. And with this being a little condensed, that's just the way the Nintendo PDF is. Comparing everything, it's a little condensed. If you look at the original book of this versus this release, this crease where the binding is should be like on the third little point on the stamp on the print. So that's one of the reasons that you could see this has been shrunk as well. Obviously measuring it, but this is the crease for the binding is further over, and it's just because the image has been shrunk down and the pages being used has been shrunk down. So that's another dead giveaway. But the way this is set up is exactly how Nintendo set it up for the newest release PDF of this book. So I'll put a link in the description for that. If you guys are interested in buying a bootleg reproduction book that's not going to fool anyone, it really shouldn't. Anybody who's familiar with Nintendo guidebooks. This should not fool anyone. The quality is decent, but it's nowhere near Nintendo quality for a book. I still think this is kind of cool. I'm glad I bought it, but I could have just used Nintendo's PDF and had that printed myself, and maybe had a company bind it. You know, it's kind of a hard thing to do to get some companies to do that, but there's some out there who'll, you know, they'll do shit for you. So hey, there it is. Just wanted to give you guys heads up. I'm happy with this. I mean, $30 is a little much. This should be like a $10 book. You know, they didn't spend much money, but you know, people who really dig Earthbound, especially as of late, retro gaming is definitely crazy. People are looking for the original guidebook. They've been selling quite a bit lately. So they're banking on that nostalgia. People just wanting this. So $30 if you want one. That's about the cheapest you're going to find it, unless you get one printed yourself from Nintendo's official PDF. Links will be in the description. Really do appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Big ass thumb butt. Look at them cheeks. With that said, I will catch y'all next time. Peace out. Bye-bye and boom.